Okay, Chris, it is 7 p.m.
Okay, we'll be
We're recording.
We're opening the meeting now. Present tonight, we have Marissa Cook-Obregon, Jerry Patria, we have Brian Drennan, we have David McWilliams, we have Norm from the Lake Management Committee, we have Ricky Zito, and am I missing someone?
There's Brian Franca.
Where is he? I don't see him on my screen.
Brian's coming. Here he is.
Okay. We will have Brian Franca momentarily.
Do you want to announce the meeting date and time and commission?
It is June 1st, Conservation Commission. This is our remote participation that we have tonight. We have a 7 o'clock meeting. And I think tonight we're going to review our minutes first. I think everybody has had an opportunity to look at the minutes.
Okay, now we got Brian Franca. I think everybody's here.
There he is.
Brian.
Jerry Patria. Did I say Jerry before? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't.
I'm here.
He's got a Mr. Lakin back. Okay, so did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting of the 18th? Okay, does anybody have any corrections or amendments that they saw?
One small one, Gene, top of page 2. First line, possible, if not for the dedication, I think you wanted to say of Mr. Jameson Crowley, possibly.
Okay.
Okay. Any others? All right. Hearing none, I'll take a motion on the minutes of the 18th of May.
Move to accept the meetings as amended.
You have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Jerry Patria makes a motion. Dave McWilliams seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brian Drennan?
Aye.
Marissa?
Aye.
Okay. Brian Franca?
Aye.
And Chris Pratt? Aye. And we have Deb Harath with us now.
Yes, you do.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Earth, I'm sorry. I always do that.
Crickets.
No, I'm sorry. I like crickets.
Me too. It's
Peaceful.
my ringtone.
my text alert. Okay, so Dennis, do you have anything you would like to bring us up to date on?
We had a request for a certificate of compliance for the Congamon Road project. And I took a look at it today and it didn't look really buttoned up that well. It didn't look like it was totally stabilized.
Okay.
I saw some silt in the dry stream bed. And there was a replication, a 500 or 600 foot replication that I would like to have verified by the wetland scientists that monitored the project. So I sent off emails to everybody today, telling what we saw, the observations we saw, and what we'd like to have for the next meeting to be able to sign off on that certificate of compliance.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
Did anybody get a chance to look at the Franklin Land Trust baseline report for North Pond?
Yes.
Dave, I know you got the 45 pages downloaded.
It looked pretty well in order to me, Dennis. Did you see anything that was aberrant from what we thought we originally had thought about the agreement?
I did not, but I wanted to, listen to everybody, see if anybody had any ideas or suggestions.
The conservation restriction looked like, what I expected it to look like. So all the allowable things that are posted for there are the same as what we had discussed with the state. So I was happy to see they didn't change anything.
Does the commission need to vote on approving that baseline report?
I don't know. I don't think we never approved one before. I don't believe. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I don't think we can change.
Well, yeah, if there was something that we needed to have changed, we could ask them to change it because it does have Southwick Conservation Commission as the overseeing authority.
Well, I don't see that we need to accept or deny it right now. If we find a
Okay.
reason later
Yeah.
that we want to change something, then we can come back at it then. I think if we accept it now the way it is officially, then it puts us in a position of not being able to amend it later. So I think if we hold off, might be the best course of action.
I agree.
Okey doke. Anybody else? 2 or 3 sentences? No? Okay.
We got 4 minutes for till the first hearing.
Looking at my watch here. Anybody have a nice weekend?
Oh, yeah.
How was it out on the lake this weekend?
Saturday, very nice. Sunday, I was busy, so I don't know. But Saturday was warm and sunny. I got some pizza from Rail Trail Pizza. They delivered by boat.
Nice.
That was kind of,
Actually, wow.
That's kind of cool.
yeah. Just order way ahead, that's all.
Chris, we did have a request from the people doing the lake treatment to notify the farmers not to irrigate during the Monday treatment. And it was kind of last minute. Marissa jumped on it. Luckily, the Agricultural Commission's taken control of it. And the farmers would like to next year if we could get a little more advanced notice because nobody was putting water, but it could have been problematic.
Okay, that sounds great. Norm and Deb, if you guys could give us a heads up on that, that would be awesome.
Come down very quickly.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Like the copper sulfate does, it's the same thing. They, it's an opportunistic kind of a treatment. So
Yeah.
it's,
So
it does come very quickly, but I think that, as it goes out, we should set it out to the,
Yep.
it's around the same time every year. So I think the farmers should be aware that it could happen, during those 2-3 weeks, first week of June.
Normally it's a little earlier, isn't it, though? We like to treat as early as possible because
It depends on the weather, pretty much. It's
water temperature.
it's water temperature, it's weather dependent, really, and what kind of spring we have.
there should be no irrigation until 6/7, June 7th.
Okay.
If there's a way, Dick had asked if we could reach out to farmers, but I don't know any farmers. Is there a way, Marissa, to do that besides social media and?
Yeah, I mean, Dick was helpful in that he gave me some contact details. And when I spoke with some of those farmers, I asked them as well if they knew of anybody else who was using that for irrigation possibly. So it was kind of word of mouth in this respect. And I'm hopeful that for next year, for any future treatments, if I kind of have a working list, then I can give that to the agricultural commissioners and we can kind of revise it and kind of update it accordingly each year. And even a couple of days makes a difference. I know that it's kind of a sudden treatment and the conditions need to be right, but it has been a particularly dry spring the last few weeks. So even just an additional 2 days could have made a difference. So just an FYI, the farmers understand that it's not something that can be planned way ahead of time. And one of them actually thought that it wasn't happening this year because he thought it was early May. And he's like, I didn't hear anything. So I
Yeah.
figured you guys weren't doing it. So he already had some crop in the ground that is dependent on that lake water. So yeah, I think it'd be good if the Agricultural Commission could just have a little bit more contact with LMC, and we happily would liaise with the farmers. Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Okay.
First, for our first hearing, we have Ricky Zito from the Green Machine.
Okay, do we have something I could read? It's Green Machine is, so Ricky, would you like to,
Gene, do you have the legal
Yeah,
ad?
before you start the hearing,
uh-huh,
I checked the mail today and there was no payment for the filing fee. So the $75 check that's required, I don't have yet.
Okay, so nothing will be able to be finalized until that is taken care of.
Right.
The legal ad was in the paper and it was advertised for tonight's meeting
Right.
for 105 Point Grove Road.
Yep.
Was the
Okay.
newspaper company supposed to contact our office? I thought.
No, the newspaper company will bill you for the legal ad.
Yeah.
The Conservation Commission gets a check for $75 that somebody has to write out to the town of Southwick. That's
Okay.
supposed to be delivered with the application.
Okay, I missed that. I can drop it off tomorrow if that works.
Yeah,
There's a green mailbox right outside the entrance to Town Hall on the left. If you
Okay.
just put it in there with the attention of the Conservation Commission.
Ricky, do you have something on your computer you can share with the commission for the RDA?
Is there something I could read in, Dennis? Do we have the legal ad or the legal notice to read in, or?
Gene, do you have that handy?
I have it. I don't know how to get it to you. I can read it.
Okay, I'll let you read it then.
Yeah.
I think that would work just fine.
That's 105, right?
Yes.
Here, I can
105 point.
share my screen with you, Chris, if you want to read it off the screen.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. That's all I needed.
Okay, share screen,
You got it?
legal ad.
Okay, the Southwick Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing under the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Law C 131 and Section 40 of the Southwick Conservation Commission Regulations and Bylaw, Chapter 182 and Chapter 450 for request for determination of applicability. The proposed work consists of removing and replacing a stairway within the buffer zone of Middle Pond. The location of the project is 105 Point Grove Road, map 123, parcel 71, Southwick, Mass. The hearing will be held June 1st, 2020 via Zoom meeting. And here we are, and Christopher Pratt, Chair of the Commission. All right, Mr. Zito, so you can tell us about your project?
Yeah, so there's existing stairs that are failing. They're actually rubber tires filled with concrete, so we'll be removing those and installing granite steps with paver walkways and some paver landing. The stairs would end approximately 25 feet from normal water level. There is a dead tree that's along the stairwell that we would be taking down. Trying to think what else. Going off of a map with the floodplain, I measured 38 feet. So I guess there might be a 13 feet into the floodplain, but we won't be adding anything because anything that we take out for our step, it's just basically filling the same volume.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, thank you guys for your time.
You want me to share the screen with the RDA?
Yep, can you show us a map, Dennis, or a sketch or a drawing or something, please? Be great. Okay, so,
This is the scope of the work.
yeah, and what is the slope down at the base next to the lake, between the lake and the end of the work? What's your slope there, that 35 feet of?
25 feet with the stairs ending. It's actually pretty flat right there.
Okay. Could you maybe keep your silt fence closer to the stairs?
Yeah, we could, like 5 feet, 10 feet off the stairs would give us plenty of room to work. I just drew it on the water line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put it wherever we want.
Yeah, I mean, it could be in the middle. I mean, it just, along the shoreline. Sometimes
Yeah, okay.
it's not protected before that.
Yep.
Get some siltage in there. And so you're just replacing what's already there. Now, what kind of, it's a dead tree?
Yep.
Just one tree?
Yep.
You have a picture or anything, or?
I do not. It was something the homeowner added after, just because it's pretty much completely deceased. And he's like, oh, well, since I'm putting in these new stairs, can you take this? He kind of sprung it on me last minute, and I was told to mention it during the meeting.
How close to the water is it, Ricky?
I would say it's not halfway down the stairs, but it's closer to the bottom, but it's definitely, so maybe it's just outside the floodplain. So 35 feet, I'd say, approximately, from the average water line.
We'll leave it up to the commissioners to, you guys have any questions on that?
How big is the tree?
Approximately, I'd say 40 feet right now. I think half of it's had already came down a while ago. It's pretty rotten. It's been shedding bark, shedding branches for a while.
How's it going to be removed? Are you going to have a crane to take it out, or how are you going to get it out of there?
With our excavator,
So
just kind of push it over and then remove it.
you push it up the hill? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to be bringing any heavy equipment onto the between the house and the lake?
It's a mini. I mean, not a mini. It's a medium-sized excavator. Is probably the biggest piece of equipment. I believe it's like a 14,000-pound excavator.
Are you going to be showing us some kind of a plan or design of exactly what you're doing for approval process?
If I need to draw something up, I can. If you want me to submit something with the a little bit more detail than just that scope of work section, showing the staircase and showing where the landings are and the steps and then the walkways.
It'd just be nice to be able to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
If anybody have a want to go look at the tree to make sure it is in tough shape?
I'd be happy to take a picture of it tomorrow. I don't know, send and then email it.
That'd be acceptable to me, but
Mhm.
how's everybody else feel about that? Everybody's good with that?
It's a good idea.
That's all right.
Okay.
I'd paint an X on it just to make sure we got the right tree. No, that happened a couple times.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I can do that.
Funny. Yeah, that'd be great. Ribbon around it or something.
Yeah, I'll put a spray paint and then take a picture.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So I think we'll be looking for a continuation on this hearing. Being that we'd like to see the picture of that and a little bit more information on the stairs, and how the work is going to be done would be described a little bit better too, I think, with the excavator in there, and just how the stairs are going to be removed.
Yeah.
And what you're going to do to put the new ones in. Just like a little narrative would be good.
Okay.
Just so we can have that on record.
Okay.
Okay. So Gene or Dennis can get a continuation form. You can sign that tomorrow, maybe when you bring in the other things, or whatever day you bring in the other things to sign the continuation form.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can mail it.
Well, if he's going to come in anyway.
No.
Oh, yes, I forgot. He has to drop things
No.
in the box.
You
So
can just email it to him and he can sign it and send it
Right,
back.
I'll email it to Mr.
everything.
Zito and then he can sign it and then send it back. Or
Okay.
you can wait till I email it to you and then put it in with the check,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Zito, you if you have any questions, you can contact Dennis or Gene,
Okay.
with anything else, but you are released.
I guess my only question is, so I know there's like the 10-day grace period with the continuation. I mean, does that delay stuff more, or are we?
Yes, you have to have an approved plan before the 10-day starts. So
Okay.
it won't be until after next meeting now.
And when's that?
It's 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Okay.
The
All right.
15th.
I guess there's,
15th,
okay.
same time.
So basically you need the narrative and you want a plan.
A narrative, a plan, materials would be good. Maybe a better picture of the tree, where you're going to put the silt fence for sure. What kind of silt fence you're going to use? Make sure it's staked in and hay baled maybe.
Yeah.
So a description of siltation prevention.
I would put a couple of distances from, where the tree is and your silt fence, and some measurements in there would be good too.
Yeah, I mean, on your plan, definitely put where the tree is that you're going to be removing, because that's part of your plan now.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for coming, and we will see you next time.
Thank you guys for your time.
Okay,
Thank you.
have a good night.
You too.
Chris, do you need a motion for continuation?
I think if he's asking for one, I don't think we need a motion for it, but I will make a motion for continuation. Marissa, what do you say?
I'll
Okay.
second.
Jerry?
Aye.
David? Hello, David. Just say aye. I think he said it. I read his lips. Brian Drennan? Brian Pranka?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. So we are good for continuation for next meeting. Same project, more detail. All right. Thank you, Ricky.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
So Chris,
Yes.
I'd like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with the easiest next thing on the agenda.
Sure.
The request for a variance for 101 Lakeview Street to keep their dock in year round.
Okay.
And this is 101 Lakeview Street. This is the dock. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been there. I don't think it's ever been taken out. It's not in the best shape. The police chief, the harbor master, said that he didn't have a problem, no issue, as long as we have them do the standard, put buoys at the end of it, and make sure it's clear that when that dock finally falls apart, that it doesn't go back in. It goes back in with a replaceable one, a removable one.
Yeah, and I think right now, the way it looked, there is part of it that was floating actually, Dennis. So is it all safe right now?
It didn't look like it was in the best shape.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, at best it would have one more year, but it didn't even look like it was really usable right now.
Yeah, and once they move it out of there, it's not going back in. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
The people that currently own it just bought it a couple months ago.
All right. And they're the ones that are filing for the
Yes,
waiver?
yes.
I wonder why.
According to the applicant, the previous owner of that property said that he had a state permit to have the dock there year round, but I researched it and never found any Chapter 91 license on it.
Okay.
But a Chapter 91 license wouldn't go to a new owner, right? It would be,
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends
Okay.
on the license. Some are transferable, some aren't. Many different types of Chapter 91 licenses.
But the new property owner was under the impression when she bought the property that it was previously licensed.
Yeah.
We don't have any proof of that, so we're going to go into the assumption that it's not, and that it's up to the commissioners. They want to give her the year-round variance for
Well, maybe let's say we'll do it for 1 year. How about
1
that?
year. Yeah.
did she take the permit up for this year?
Yes.
Okay.
And both the boats I paid for too.
Okay. Very good.
Norm, you got anything to comment on that?
No, I like that 1 year rule. That's good.
You were on the tour with us.
I didn't get over to 101 though.
Yeah, he wasn't on the boat. He was
Oh.
in the truck riding around.
Oh, who was in the LMC boat? I thought somebody
You
was.
were. Nobody
Okay,
was.
so we're gonna move next door to 99 Lakeview Street.
Uh-huh.
And this is the applicant wants to put 3 docks and 7 boats.
How
Now-
much footage there, Dennis?
Now, I sent him a revised sheet. I sent him a revised layout sheet, and this is how we filled it out. It didn't go to scale because this is 120 feet and he's only 97 feet, first of all. Second of all, he didn't subtract for the 4 feet for each one of these docks. So this is not 23 feet between here. It
Right.
has to be 25. So I transposed it onto a sheet. And this is what it would really look like.
Okay.
25 feet away from the property lines.
Mhm.
Longest, if somebody wants to come in, let me see what's going on. 25 feet away from the property lines. The longest dock is 30. The other ones are 20. And as you can see, that's 17 feet in between the docks.
Well, that's up to him in between the docks, right? As long as he's 25 feet away from the property line,
I think that's correct, yes.
you know, so.
And the police chief, the harbor master, said he did not have a problem with having 7 boats out there.
How's he gonna fit 7, one on the end of that other T? Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know if he can fit 7 boats unless they're small boats.
I can't see how that's gonna work at all.
If he puts a boat at the end of that, isn't it going to be another 30 feet plus, say, a 20-foot boat? He's going to be sticking out 50 feet.
No, it looks like that's the part he already has there now.
I would ask the homeowner to revise his plan and then submit the plan rather than Dennis trying to figure it out for him.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Brian. Yeah, have him redo the plan so that he understands that it still needs to be 25 feet, subtracting the 4 of the dock space. You know, so he has to make sure he's subtracting the 4-foot width of each dock.
How about if we send him this plan here and have him sign it?
I'd also like to see the boats in there though, because I don't know where he's going to put 7 boats in that. Just so he, you know, if he sticks out, then we got another problem with, you know, blocking lines and in areas and.
Well, if you look at the, where is that? Over there. If you look at the lake out there, it's not gonna,
Yeah, I think that dock is already there, Brian, the one that has the T at the end with the boat off the end of it.
Right, but he's not showing that extra section of dock
Right.
to the side of the boat. See, it's showing 30 feet with a boat at the end. See where that cursor is? That
Yeah,
extra, that's the end.
Right.
Now
this
he's
is-
currently got that other piece sticking out parallel to the other boat at the end.
this is the 4 foot, this is the 4 foot, 20 feet, and this is the 8 foot that goes out to 30 feet.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
there's the spot next to the boat as well, Dennis. There's another piece of
There's
dock
another set of docks there. Correct.
No.
right there. That's not on the plan.
Okay, so what do you want from him?
Well, you'd have to put that piece on where he wants it as well.
Well, as far as I know, he's not proposing that to go on there. What he's proposing is, you know, what we have,
Okay.
but it's up to you guys, you
Looks
know.
like it's going to be a tight fit, that's for sure.
I don't.
He does fit all the parameters as far as under 600 square feet, under the amount of boats, and staying 25 feet away from the
Yeah.
property lines.
But I think he'll maybe need some guidance on measuring because it doesn't seem like he's on the mark right now with his pictures.
Mhm.
So maybe we'll make sure that he has his docks the appropriate distance apart.
Well, here's the thing is if we say this is what you should do, then he's like, well, you guys approved it. This is what I'm doing. So it should come from him, not from Dennis, just because of the fact that who's going to be liable, or it's a he, she, and pointing fingers and everything else.
Well, what Dennis drew is allowable. So
I
mean,
love what Dennis drew, and
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, it came from Dennis, and is that what the homeowner's thinking, or is that what Dennis is interpreting from the
No,
homeowner?
he's revised it for the homeowner to make it allowable.
Right.
Well, I revised it so it's actually has the right calculations on it. He didn't have the right, he didn't do it to scale, and he didn't subtract for the dock, so it had the wrong calculations. I can send that back to him, tell him that, sign off on it. But my question is, do you want to see where the boats, is that something you want to see where the boats are going to go, or is that
I would
not?
like to see it,
Yeah.
because it's just hard how he's going to put all those boats in there without sticking farther out into the waterway.
Well, it's 17 feet between the docks. You're not going to be able to get
No.
2 pontoon boats at 8 feet apiece with a foot in between them.
No.
Right.
But you could get, smaller boats in there. But I guess it depends how much detail. If you want more detail, that's what we're going to get.
I just think it's a better clarification of what he's asking for.
Mhm.
And I think Dennis, you did a great job so far clarifying it.
Mhm.
He needs to agree and
Well,
give us more
Gene's got a list of the boats because he did list all 7 boats, right, Gene?
Yes,
Including the registrations?
including the registrations, but not the address of all of the boat owners.
So he should comply with that properly too, shouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Gene already notified him that he's going to have to pay for non-residents for some of those boats. But we'll get more information before we give him permission to go ahead and do it. Check back with the commission.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll take them. Anybody want to make a motion on having a new plan drawn up and detailed with boats?
I'll make a motion to fix it up a little bit.
I thought you would. This is your idea. Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, Jerry Patria seconds it. Marissa, what do you think?
Aye.
Okay, I myself. Brian Drennan, what do you say?
Aye.
David, raise your hand if you're an aye. I know your audio is a little bit wacky. You're an aye.
Back with us, Dave.
He's a thumbs up. There you go.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Okay. Yeah, his audio is out, so. All righty then. We'll
All
have
right, so
a
next,
reapplication.
next I would like to move over to Island Pond.
Okay.
This was our first stop at our site visit. And let's see, here we go. This is the surveyed map that the Beach Association had contracted out from Steve Salvini. We measured from the association dock to Karanian's dock. Well, actually, it's approximately 28 feet, 28 to 30 feet, but it's more closer to 28 feet. You can see the property line is over here. So he's probably, 10 feet away. Well, if this is 25 feet away, then he's 5 feet away from the property line. We did pull a boat in here, and we did pull a boat in over here.
Yeah.
And there seemed like there was plenty of room, or enough room anyway, that it wasn't a navigational hazard. The police chief agreed that it wasn't a navigational hazard. This is a Google Earth of the area we're at. The Karanian's dock is here. We pulled a boat in here, and you can see that kind of a tight squeeze between these two docks. Association docks are here. The harbor master said he didn't think that the dock being here was a navigational hazard. he didn't think if it was over here, it would be a navigational hazard either, even though there's a canal here. But this could be considered a hardship because there's a big tree right here that he'd have to take down. And it is at the mouth of the canal where it's shallower. So the chief said it would be up to the commission to decide whether it warrants a hardship. It looks as though he could angle this dock out in this direction here and make things a lot easier for everybody.
Since this picture was taken, they did angle it out. And I think they moved the larger boat on the inside, the canal side.
Put this bigger boat over here.
Right.
Did you measure the association dock 25 feet from the fence or the put
Well,
the
you-
close property line?
You can see it's on the survey plan. This is
Yeah.
where it is and where it was. It's right on the property line on the other side. It's kind of funny, the people that are complaining about having it, the next door neighbor too close to the property line has theirs on the property line. But if people don't complain, then most people don't have the 25 feet. So it's generally just a neighborly thing. And it's up to the commissioners.
Is there a reason why you can't move it 5 feet or 10 feet just to give it a little bit more breathing room?
If you look, they want to move 25 feet. You know, we asked him last year to move it over 10 feet, but he does have a beach area right here. And he would be bringing, right now he's got a little landing built up and it's for the dock itself. It would, you know, he'd have to reconstruct that and bring it over here.
I think the other thing you can't see, there's a tree that grows out sideways. If you can see it from the water view, it doesn't go straight up. It grows out over the water.
It's this one right here.
Yeah, so I don't know that you'd be able to get a boat in if the dock got any closer to the tree on that side, on the canal side.
Yeah, and that does get very shallow in that canal. It plugs up pretty good in the summer. I know that.
You can see here, you can see the bottom over in here.
Yeah. Like you can get a canoe or a kayak through, but a boat is not really, it's not passable with a boat.
Because the law does say 25 feet from the property line where it's possible.
And I think he has more of a hardship than, you know, as far as warranting moving his dock. I think where it is probably the better spot for it to be, you know, definitely for him, but also for navigation. If people want to kayak down through there, it leaves the channel open. It also leaves it open for flow, for water. But, you know, if you put a dock there, you're pretty much plugging the canal.
This
If
is,
you look at the,
this is Norm. Just a point of information, the owner passed away this past week.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who has, it'll only complicate your decision because his wife died a couple of years ago.
Right.
True.
I think this is going to be an ongoing contention, just by the nature of the way the lake is there.
Well, the previous owner passed away the day before the site visit, so we're going to be dealing with the new owners of the property. I think his children maybe, or
I'm sure it's
over.
so I've got a question. Is the end of the dock sitting like it is in the picture, or is it moved closer to the canal at this point?
It's closer to the canal.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the association dock is actually over a little bit from where that picture is of the satellite view.
Because when we were there, we had 2 pontoon boats and they weren't that close to
No,
together.
it seemed like there was plenty of room this year between those 2 docks for 2 pontoon boats. It didn't look that tight. And you can see in other pictures where the dock maybe was over 5 feet on the association side. There's like a little ghost shadow there.
Yeah.
Previous placements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Right.
have a procedural question. Issuing the hardship, that just means in this instance that you give the okay for it to stay there. Is that indefinite, or does that have a limitation? I mean, does that change with homeowners, or?
I think because it's where it's the location that's determining it, it's not somebody's ability to service it. I think that we could leave it in for that next person as well.
For the next person, so it would kind of
Transfer,
That's right.
the hardship should be able to transfer because it's not a hardship for the actual person.
And I think it would be 1 year at a time also, because they might put it in a different place next year.
Right.
So we'd have to look at it every year to see if it would still qualify.
Well, I don't think the channel's going to change. If they just leave it there or if they put it back in the same place, I think
Well, the channel is actually silting in every year. It gets a little bit,
it's going to get worse. as time-
dredged it out about 20 years ago, but it filled back in again.
Right.
So
But
even
do we
if
have to make a ruling?
it's still subject to us reviewing it yearly, is that correct?
Everything is subject yearly to be reviewed. Yeah.
Right. All of these LPPs are only 1 year
Year
permit.
at a time.
Thanks for clarifying, everyone.
Mhm.
Because everybody passed away, does it really have to be taken care of, or could we just let the new owners approach with hardships or whatever?
Well, I think they're aware of what the situation is. They were there, they know what, they let us on their dock and they know what's going on. So every year we send out the notices, every year we'll have to review to find out the current status and where they put the docks, because it could shift from year to year.
Right.
But I think this year, I don't think that, personally, I don't think it warrants having to be moved, because we got 2 pontoon boats, full-size pontoons next to each other, and there was still room to play.
I would agree with that. It seemed like there was plenty of room in between the 2 docks when we were there. So I don't see how having his dock there is encumbering anything on the other side of the association.
I
So
agree.
you're probably looking for a vote to take no action on this complaint?
I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to take no action on this complaint.
Okay,
I'll
Brian
second.
Brennan. Is that Brian?
Sorry,
Pack?
who seconded?
Dave,
Dave?
Oh, we hear you now.
Oh.
Great.
Okay.
lucky for you guys.
Marissa, what do you say?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
And I as well. So that would be unanimous. Okay. All right.
Okay, the next one's a little more complicated. You saved the best for last.
What are you talking about? We didn't go anywhere else.
Now, they might look a little odd as far as distances go, but these were the distances that were measured while we were out there on the site visit. And we pulled one boat into this dock, and it really was encumbrous. I wouldn't want to try and pull a boat into the other dock. There definitely is some kind of infringement going on with the dock the way it sits right now for the one next to Mr. Murphy's, Mr. Pinella's dock. Something has to be done, I would say. I think we all agreed something needs to be done. We looked at, the closest point was 26.6 or 26 feet 6 inches. And if we cut it down to 40 feet, it only brings it to 26 8 inches. So it really doesn't help a whole lot by doing that.
All right, because you're not going to be bringing a boat in any closer than that. There's no real water.
So
We were talking about having Mr. Pinella add another section that might make it a little easier. What do people think about that? Make it a little longer,
Go further out. Isn't that
Yeah.
what we discussed?
another 10 feet, yeah.
Well, I think no matter what you do, you're going to have to make a no park area in here for him, where he can't park his boat here, so that Mr. Murphy, of course, Mr. Murphy could, if he wanted to, he could move his dock, but he doesn't want to. He has a Chapter 91 license. He likes it where it is, doesn't want to move it. So we would have to tell Mr. Piniella that there would be no boats parked on this side. If you wanted him to, or if you asked him to make it longer, he could park a boat further on the end of it where it wouldn't be in the way. This was the harbor master's, one of his suggestions.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
just looking for options to make this work.
And Mrs. Pinella also indicated that was a possibility for them too, so maybe they're amenable to it.
Yeah, I mean, we can't
But
force
then
them.
you're gonna have a dead zone. You're gonna have to call it a dead zone or whatever on that little
Well,
section.
yeah, we'll just tell them that they would not be using that side of the,
Mm.
the north side of the dock.
Well, not the north side, but that area in the middle. If they move it out further and they parked at the end, it wouldn't be an issue anymore. Because just extending it and not being allowed to park on that
Well,
side doesn't do any different
We would have to say how far out it would have to be.
to the end of the dock. They'd
Well,
have to park at the very end
Go
of the dock.
75 feet. That's the maximum right now is 75 feet.
Yeah.
Right. So it would be out to the very end of the dock, as the boat would be parked there
On that side.
only. Or if they want to keep it like that, they would have to only use the south side of the dock.
So we can write a letter with those options prohibiting him from using the inside of the dock or the dock towards Mr. Murphy's property. And he has the option, if he wants to come back with another plan with a longer dock and show where the boat would be parked, he has that option.
I think that would be okay. I don't think we can require him to buy more dock.
No,
So, I mean, if that's something that was amenable to him, I think he has that option that we would leave open for him as well.
I think if he shortens it, it also offers an opportunity that might work.
Well, you see where we shortened it, Norm? To 40
Well,
feet?
You'd have to go to 30 feet.
Well,
Not
if
40.
you go to
you
30
do
feet,
30
there's
feet,
really
there's
no
no-
water.
It's pretty shallow there.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to bring my boat in that close.
Dennis, he may have a problem with Jimmy Jones's boat if he goes longer and he parks on that side. It's kind of tight now.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
But
So
we're just
longer,
we're looking at the complaint we're getting from you right now, and it seems like a legitimate complaint that nobody, especially on a windy day, would try to navigate to get their boat into your dock if somebody was parked on Pinella's dock.
well, if it's longer, it's going to be more in the way for me.
But if
I
he
think the
doesn't
consensus
park,
was we didn't think it would be.
Actually, shorter, everybody gets more room.
Except for him, there's no water if it's shorter on his side.
We've measured the depth there, and there was over 3.5 feet of water at 30-something feet, 36 feet.
well, that's the back end of his boat. The front end of the boat over here, it's probably 6 feet of water at the most.
Well, there again, I sent you an email. I don't know if you've gotten it. He doesn't own the pontoon boat anymore. So all that's really on that dock are two boats, and they're under 15 foot, both boats.
But we know last year he had visitors with large pontoon boats, right?
Right.
Okay, so he may buy a new pontoon boat. You don't know.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, you're right, Norm. We can't go under that. We've got to go under the assumption. And right now, I think the number one thing is to tell him that if the dock is there, that's not in your way. If there's a boat parked there, that would definitely be in your way. But
Well, when you have a dock, you're going to have a boat on it sooner or later. We all know that.
well, he can't have a boat on there. He can't, not on that
Yeah.
side.
That'd be a requirement of the LPP for his dock.
Well, extending out another 10 feet is just not going to be acceptable to me.
Well, I think other than pulling his dock out of the water, what is acceptable to you?
Oh, that was uncalled for.
I don't think so. I mean, we've been down this road for a year and a half, 2 years, and nothing has.
At one point,
I mean, I
at
think
one
we've
point,
come up
we
with
were
it.
both at 36 foot long, and there was no problem here. 36 foot, I don't know if anybody got a measurement on that, but that would be pretty close to the 30 feet that the SCC mandated that he comply with.
We were looking at the 40-foot mark just to see, you know, if he took off at that 15 feet, how much you would gain from it. And
The configuration of his dock, it has a 6-foot side, and then it has 3 10-foot sections, and that would make it 36 feet.
you're still not going to gain that much if he parks a boat over here. Even at that, you're still going to be crowded. It's not going to. You're not going to get any more room.
You might get a couple more inches, and that's about it.
That 36-foot mark always looked good to me.
I'd like to make a motion that we send off a notice to him that he can add 10 feet to his dock and that he can't park in the area that we deem is infringing on Mr. Murphy.
Well, he would have to come in with a new plan that'd be
Okay.
approved. A new
I
dock.
had trouble docking my boat today, or, no, excuse me, Saturday, when I brought my boat in. I couldn't get onto my dock without jumping off and having somebody catch me and pull me into the dock. I could
That
take a
was-
picture and email it to you tomorrow.
And that was without a boat on his dock?
Right.
So
Foot
26.
longer, I'm not going to be able to get onto my dock unless I drive straight in and then move the boat all around. And the regulations do say that it shouldn't interfere with the docking of my vessels.
Right, but if you look at, if your boat is eight feet wide, is that where your boat is, 8 feet wide?
Yeah, that's kind of standard.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's 26 feet there, 26 feet, 6 inches. I mean, there's a lot of places on the lake that don't have that much room between them. I know it's at an angle. It's an awkward angle is what makes this the most difficult.
Well, because it sticks out past the existing structure, it's difficult for me to come around and dock on my dock. The problem is the length of the dock.
Well, you know, it's difficult to navigate a lot of places on the lake. That's, you know, it's a crowded area. We're just trying to make it so that it's not a hazard.
Like I said, when we were both permitted by the state at 36 foot, we didn't have a problem here. Everybody got in, everybody got out. There's no water issue, and things worked out well. Even in the LPP application, it addresses building out past existing structures.
I just don't see that the dock itself is in your way. A boat being on that dock, yes, I could see where that would definitely be a hazard. But the way it is right now, even I could get a boat in there without being a problem. And that's saying something.
Yeah. I mean, there looks like plenty of room on that side if he didn't have a boat on the north side of his dock.
Agreed.
I'd say number one, no boats are allowed.
Yeah, and
No
I
boats
think
docked on this
he
side.
can fit a boat on the other side without extending his dock.
If he wants to extend his dock, he can come back to the commission to ask for permission to do that. Not put it in there and say, okay, I did it, but come back to the commission and say, this is what I'm proposing.
Well, even at the length that it is now, it's not acceptable to me. We'll have to go on from here.
Well, we will, because I mean,
That's fine, that's fine. It's
for,
acceptable to the commissioners, and that's who I'm answering to right now.
I mean, I think 26 feet's a lot of area to be able to maneuver a boat into.
Well, even I heard the police chief, the harbor master, say with a slight wind, it's next to impossible to get a boat in there.
I agree with it. With our boat parked there, it would be, even without a slight wind, it's too much. It's too much of a pinch point. But
That was the problem I've had for the last 2 years.
But you're not allowing them to park a boat on the north side, you're saying the south side.
Right.
Well, it's not supposed to interfere with the vessels coming to and from my dock.
Well, it shouldn't be at 26 feet. I mean, that shouldn't be impeding your,
If his dock was 26 feet, there'd be more than 30 feet clearance between the two docks.
well, I'm saying 26 feet apart. And you should be able to get a boat in 26 feet distance closer to your dock. I mean,
That's where it is now, but it still sticks out past my dock, and it makes it very hard to and difficult to dock a boat, especially if you get a crosswind.
okay, we're looking at last year's flyover.
Yeah, I mean, based on this picture, it looks like it's a bigger hardship for him than you.
I
I mean,
agree
I
with
wouldn't want to
Dave.
have to try and get that boat out of the right side of his dock.
I have the existing structure.
I get that. I get that. But what I'm saying is, that is when
Permitting-
he had a shorter dock, and it looks like it's still an issue of navigation with a shorter dock.
I have Google
Yeah.
Earth pictures going back to 2010 or 11, and it has never been a problem when the docks, like I said, were 36 feet, and they were both permitted by the state. We didn't have an issue here.
Well, we
It
can't
has only
turn back-
been
we can't
since
turn
the
back the
addition
clock.
of the 20-foot addition.
We can't turn back the clock. We're dealing with 2020, the current year, and how we're going to address the situation. And first of all, say that you can't park a boat on this side, so you can have access to come in here clearly. As far as the length of the dock goes, I think that's still up for debate.
And I think if we leave the dock that length and only let him park on the south side, that should leave plenty of room for Mr. Murphy. It appears to me like plenty of room. And they'll be able to get
Well,
his,
what we didn't get a chance to do was put two boats on the docks, both on the affected sides.
well, that's what we're gonna say. He can't put a boat on that side. We're gonna limit that so that it wouldn't be able for him to do that.
I wouldn't even attempt that. And
It's a no parking zone for him. That's
So
what we're
Paul,
saying.
this
Well,
would be an improvement for you over
Well,
what
no.
happened last year.
I don't see how it's an improvement. He's the same length in the same basic spot. In fact, he's a foot and a half closer.
No,
To
he
me.
can't put his boat on that side of the dock, is what they're proposing.
Well, I understand that.
You'll
And-
have 26 feet of navigation to dock a boat on your side of the dock. 26 feet for an 8-foot wide boat.
If that's a
That gives
problem,
you
I think the
16 feet
problem's
of
bigger.
flight time.
You're still not taking into the consideration the navigation coming into my dock.
26 feet, Paul. If you
Minus
can't
an
put a
8-foot
boat
wide
into
boat.
a 20-foot, 26-foot area, that's a different
Excuse me.
issue.
The 26-foot measurement was at 46 feet, not at 56 feet.
Okay, so 26.6 feet, you're minus 2 inches. They're showing at that distance of 26 feet, minus 8-foot wide boat gives you clearance of what? Over 15 foot wide.
I'm not following you on this. Could you explain it one more time for me?
26'6" measurement. You're seeing that measurement there.
Yes,
He
that
cannot
was
put a
what?
boat on that side.
That was at 46 feet?
Correct.
Whatever it is right now. Look at it right now. You
That's-
have So he cannot put a boat on that side of the dock.
Well, that's at 46 feet.
You have an 8-foot wide boat to slip into your docks. So take 26 feet, take 20 feet, take 20 feet wide and put an 8-foot boat in there, okay? It still gives you a 12-foot margin of wind.
Navigate that, not with a breeze. It's the length that's in the way, not the total width between the docks at this point.
Mr. Murphy, are you able to see the computer? Are you looking at a screen where you can see the pictures that we're seeing?
No, I'm not able to do that.
That might be a problem that we're having of communicating. Because
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, when we look at the pictures, the overhead pictures, we see that there should be plenty of room for you to navigate your boat into that area if he does not have a boat on his side of the dock.
So I have a question. How wide is the tunnel to get to Middle Pond?
12 feet.
Okay. So you can nav a 12-foot tunnel with an 8-foot wide boat, but you can't nav a 26-foot wide area with an 8-foot boat. So on a windy day, you can go to Middle Pond, but you can't with a 12-foot wide area, but you can't navigate docking your boat with 26 feet.
We're basically not understanding each other on this, because I'm looking at my dock right now. And I've got to tell you, how about another site visit? We'll take some more measurements. 10 foot more just takes more of the lake away from me.
What I'm saying is you can navigate on a windy day a 12-foot tunnel with a wind draft coming through. We're saying we're giving you 26 feet to navigate, and you can't do that. Even with 20 feet, you can't navigate that.
So,
no, that's not working for me.
so Paul, my question.
I've got to be honest. That just that makes things, if you make the dock longer, and there again, we have a 9-foot property frontage, and you're going to give him a 66-foot dock? That's nowhere near right.
So my suggestion would be, I think everybody agrees that if, without having a boat on the side of the dock towards your property is a place to start. If he wants to come back and try to negotiate a different configuration, then we can talk about it then. And nothing can be decided now except for that there will be no parking on the side of the dock. You can't see, I didn't realize you can't see the screen right now.
We have yet to bring up the fact that my wife takes the grandsons out fishing. She does it with a rowboat. Without a boat parked there, she can get through.
Yeah.
But if there's a boat there, she can't get through.
Well, that's been the entire point of the conversation is we're going to make sure that he doesn't have a boat parked there. Regardless of the length of the dock, whether it's 1 foot or 100 feet, we're not allowing him to have a boat parked on your side of his dock.
I have plenty of pictures of boats parked there.
Okay, that's great, but that has nothing to do with what we're going to have a conversation with him about.
I make a motion to not allow a boat to be on the north side of the dock.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Brian Drennan seconds. Who made the motion again?
Pranka.
Okay, so we'll go to David McWilliams,
Yes, aye.
Marissa,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
and I as well.
Hey, Chris, I have a question. I mean, Paul, you brought up him having a 6-foot or 9-foot frontage and a 66-foot dock. Is there some stipulation that your dock length has to be commensurate with the length of waterfront that you have?
Well, it seems to have to do with the minimum size dock for the application.
Is there a bylaw, a stipulation that says that because he has a small frontage, he can't have a long dock?
I never said that.
But
I said-
that's what you were saying, is you thought it was unreasonable that he have a long dock based on the length of his frontage. He can't help the amount of frontage that he has, and he, just like you, probably wants to have a boat on the lake. So
I don't
we're
have a-
trying to figure out a reasonable way to do this. One really reasonable way would be for you to move your dock over, but obviously that's not going to happen. So now we're in this storm with you right now to try and figure out something that works. But nothing seems to be satisfying other than maybe him pulling his dock out of the water.
No, I've agreed right from the start, if his dock was in the 36-foot area, this would have ended 3 years ago.
I was out there, and I think at 36 feet, he would have a real hard time having the front end of his boat above the water.
At 36 feet, he parked on both sides of his dock, and there wasn't an issue.
I don't know what happened back then. I could just tell you.
If that criteria was good for state permits, it should be acceptable for LPP.
Well, it is acceptable for us, but it's not for him.
Well, as we all know, the bays do fill in, with sediment, and they become shallower and shallower. It's happening with the Joneses also, especially in the Bay Area. What was good there a few years ago might not be good there now, and that's what it appears to be. That if
Dennis, you and I measured it last May.
we could get
Well,
in there.
right now, the lake is low, Paul, and we know that it's a lot lower now than it was last May. The water.
Oh, the LMC measures constantly, and it is at a normal height.
Well, the water level changes on the lake too, and if he's got a 36-foot dock and it changes and it's lower next year, and he doesn't have the water, what's he going to do then?
Well, he's going to apply for a permit every year. He can address that next year if that's the case.
I think right now it's too low in the first place. Me putting my boat at the end of your dock was not good.
Well, we're going to see what happens. We sent him a letter saying he can't park on your side anymore, and if he doesn't comply with it, then he's going to be in non-compliance, and that'll put him in a different category. If he does,
Okay, you sent him a letter last year requiring him to be 30 feet from my dock. That was Mr. Pranka's suggestion. He still hasn't complied with that, and it's been 336 days. You did a site visit, and you verified that he's not in compliance.
you would still be happy if he was 30 feet away from your dock?
Yes, get him 30 feet away.
So
That will give everybody a little more room.
So we're
That could
talking
be-
like 1.5 feet then, huh? 1.5 feet more? Because it's at 28.
No, he's at 26.6.
It's at 28.6.
It'll be 3.5 feet.
Maybe 3.5, right? So
Okay.
but then you're going to have an 8-foot boat on that side of the dock. So I think you're going to be losing a lot more than if you didn't have it changed.
Right, if you want to give him that option, we can always write that into it, that if he wanted to move the dock so it's 30 feet away, then he could have a boat on that side. I didn't think that would be something that would be acceptable, but.
Well, it's not.
Well, right. I think you're going to end up losing on that end. So I don't think that'll be your best course of action. I think having no boat on that side of the dock is going to serve you the best. I think that we've already made a motion and approved that for right now. And I think we'll have to go from here.
Like I said, in the wording for an application for a dock, it's the minimum size necessary to achieve the water dependency.
Right. We were out there and it's pretty shallow, Paul.
Well, you can still float a boat. They're pontoon boats. They don't draft very much. I have the same water that he has. I don't have any more.
Well, I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to bring my boat into your dock either. It was very shallow. My motor was stirring up the mud too.
That's
And I had it.
just something we live here in the cove with. I mean, the water is not deep.
Well, yes, exactly. That's what we're saying.
I make a motion, we move the meeting.
Second. Marissa, what are you saying?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Brian Drennan?
Aye.
Dave McWilliams?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving on. So we'll be sending a letter to state that there is no parking on the north side of the dock. All right?
Have you considered the fact that Mike's house is now on the market? And we'll be probably dealing with this again when the new owner comes in.
Well, then we will. I mean, that's the nature of what happens here. When new people come, we usually deal with something new all the time. That's
Okay, but you're not receptive to the idea of shortening him to 36 feet and giving everybody in this
no,
cove.
we're closed on this hearing right now, Paul. So if you'd like to address this at another time, that's fine, but we're going to move on with our meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Ready to move on, Chris?
Yep, Dennis, go ahead.
I don't know if everybody has got a chance to go to the page that we're working on. Has everybody seen this recreational open space opportunities in Southwick? I sent a link to it.
Yes.
I
Looking
have as
for
well.
looking for input. This is the location map.
Yeah, I looked at it. It's pretty good.
Shows you all the locations, and as you scroll through it, it's got the Wally Park, and on the left-hand side, it's got, you know, the rules and regulations. We are going to have a drop-down menu that comes down when you click on it.
Yeah.
Still working on that. But
I think it's shaping up really nice, Dennis. It looks good.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
for the ponds, we decided to split North, Middle, and South Pond because they have different rules and regulations for the three ponds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm asking Dick, you know, the LMC to jump on board to get as much information. I've taken everything I have off of the site. You know, this is the Norris Ramp boat launch, which has a lot of information.
Mhm.
The
Hey,
parking
Dennis.
area has information.
Did anybody see the YouTube video Reflections on Congamond?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I actually posted it on the CRC site. It's still there.
I was gonna say, for something like this, I don't know if you would be interested in posting like the hyperlink to that, if people want to see the history of the lake as well.
Absolutely. We could have put a link on, we'll put a link on all three lakes if you like, on North, Middle, and
Yeah.
South Pond.
It's on CRC. You could just go steal the link, Dennis. It's
I
also,
will. So we have links available. This one here gives you the directions.
Nice.
But please, if you see anything on here, make sure you get back to me. I'm asking the Agricultural Commission to help with the Sofinowski, because we have the garden.
It needs a little mowing up there, Dennis.
What needs mowing?
Yeah, it needs some mowing.
Yeah, I was there yesterday.
Call Mr. Shea.
It was
Dennis,
busy.
The only input I would have that I ran across was
What's
when
that?
I was expanding it to zoom in.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, it would kick me back out to the main page.
Ah,
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a limiter that does that transfer or if it should stop, but it would just throw me out to the main page.
There is a limiter on it. I'll change that so you can zoom in on it more. Zoom out on it or zoom in, zoom in on it.
Zoom in, zoom in. I wanted more detail.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to see who was in my pool.
oh. I was gonna say something, but I yelled back.
Yeah, there is a limit. There is a limiter on it. I can change that. Not a problem.
All right.
That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Those kind
I like-
of input.
I like the Granville Gorge. That was pretty nice too. lot of detail.
Yeah, there's a lot of good narrative, Dennis.
Yeah.
But like I was talking to Dennis, I want there to be an avenue where people can send pictures of the parcels of, visiting, where those can be posted as well. Maybe a link to just the pictures themselves for that site. So it's not taking up too much of the space on the actual site, but maybe a link.
For some reason, I have my editing capabilities limited right now, but we're working on to get me full editable, so we can change this at any time we want. We can just, if we see something that's not right, we can pop on there and fix it.
Yeah.
Don't have to call the company or anything like that.
Yep. A simple upgrade fee, Dennis, your usability.
That's what I was getting to. I'm not sure if it's another $500, I think. I'd like to, if the commission could, if I do need it, if the commission could come up with that, that would be, I think, a worthwhile investment.
How are we set on the budget, Gene, or Dennis? Plenty of
We
money?
got money.
Okay, so, I'm fine with that. This is something that I've wanted to have for probably 20 years. So,
Yeah.
I think it's very worthwhile for the people of the town to be able to see where they can go, what they spent money on, through their taxes and places that they can go enjoy what they can do there. So I think that's a well worthwhile expenditure.
We do have a big project coming in for the next meeting. There's a multi-use on College Highway where the Dr. Lagac had his office before. They're going to do mixed use, have Dr. Waltz wants to put a medical complex with some apartments and stuff. So that'll be on the agenda for our next meeting. I'll make sure everybody gets a copy of it well in advance to have any questions. It's going to be presented by R. Levesque. So I'm confident that we'll have some good plans in front of us.
Okay,
Good.
very good.
Dennis, you at the town hall tomorrow morning?
What time?
I don't know. Mr. Kudlick is supposed to call me first thing in the morning. We're gonna head over. So
You let
if
me
you're
know.
around,
Let me know when I'll be there. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
I may have you recruit Dick Grinnells to join us as well.
For
I gotta
sure.
get it- Yeah, there's a certain type of handrail that's needed on the incline,
For ADA.
and they use them at the boat ramp. So I want to find out who the vendor is that we purchase those for and get a quote.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to help us out with that too.
Okay.
All right, well, that's all I got. Anybody else got anything else they want to
No?
discuss?
You want to talk about the LPP dock grid? that
Oh,
we
yeah,
discussed earlier?
yeah.
What, at the LMC meeting, there was some talk about maybe redoing the grid. And I know, Dennis, you did it. And it's pretty good, but it was like a scaling issue that concerned some people. So I took the liberty of drawing a new one, and I can share it with you, I think. Let me see if I can do it.
Try, only if Dennis gives you permission.
Let's see, share.
Dennis got way too much control here.
Can you guys see that?
Yes.
So all it is basically what he had, but they were saying that most docks are 4 feet wide and there were 10-foot square grids. So I just made some 4-foot grids and added some more information up here about maximum length, maximum square feet, and that the docks should be 25 feet away from adjacent properties. That's essentially it. It's basically what Dennis did, but if it's acceptable, I had emailed that to you today, Dennis, and Jeannie.
Did you send me the PDF file, Jerry?
It is a PDF, yeah. So,
It looks good to me. I'd like to put that on our webpage.
Yeah, and I was at the LMC meeting the other night, well, in the background, and I heard them.
I
discussing this,
thought
and
you were.
Oh, I was watching TV, and Michelle. But
Jerry,
I thought
can you,
that would be a great
Jerry, can you
idea.
make an addition?
Sure.
Put
Yeah.
the permit number in there.
Okay. Add permit number.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, yeah, then Gene can reference that when we pull up a plan sometime. That means the files will have to be in order of some sort.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, but your permits change every year.
You're right.
So,
Well, that's a new file every year anyway, right? New,
no, we don't ask them to do this every year.
okay.
We've only asked them to do it once in 10 years.
Okey-doke.
This does not go out with the yearly application.
Okay.
But for all new applicants, this
So
can
maybe
go
an
out.
address. Maybe it should have the address on it instead of the
The
permit.
address shouldn't change over time.
Well, it's on the bottom. It says property address.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
And then
Would
report.
it be a bad thing if next year we put these out to everybody to, just so we have it on file?
That would be great. Then we're,
No,
then
you
when
can
we're-
put it online too.
then when we're driving around, we know who's who.
Yeah,
You know?
put it online, yeah. It's
Yeah.
a good idea.
That might not be a bad
And,
idea.
are we recording these electronically or just on the paper that people send in? Can we do a photo of each and electronically file those?
You could scan them, sure.
I could scan them,
Yeah.
but do you know how many, you want to scan for every single one that's out there?
I don't know, do we? I mean, we might, I don't know. Just to-
Let's start with this. We'll start with this, put it online, and maybe next year we'll send them off to everybody to ask them to kindly, so we do know where everybody has their docs.
I can create a
For an
database.
intern.
Yeah, just thought, if we wanted to go out and check somebody's, we don't have to, a stack of papers blowing around.
Right.
We can just.
I'm an unemployed school bus driver. I have the time.
Aha.
I could create a database for them
Yeah,
if you want me to do that.
that'd be amazing. I
That'd be
think.
cool.
I think
Yeah.
we've been trying to do that for a lot of.
By
years, but-
property and
Yeah.
all kinds of permit number cross-referencing and stuff, sure.
Right,
Well, I
but I
see-
wouldn't reference the permit number on them because like I said, every year they change.
You won't,
so-
you won't have the permit number till after it goes out anyway, so.
Yeah.
But
Dean, I
everybody
see
has
3
their-
people on this meeting that are lakefront owners. I think they should be the guinea pigs, and those should be the first 3 submitted
Not a
for
Well,
the
problem.
new scanning process.
That-
I think
I
that's only
second that.
acceptable. All in favor?
No,
Somewhere-
but one of them's a chapter 91 license, so he
That's
doesn't
right,
have to
Jeremy
do
doesn't
it.
count.
But I did mine anyhow, just to show, to see if it worked.
Good boy.
Yeah, just for the heck of it.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Appreciate you taking the
Okay.
time to get that straightened out.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Nicely done.
You're a good citizen, Jerry.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to bed. Anybody else?
Not until we make a motion, Gene.
I make a motion, Gene, go to bed.
Okay, second.
Okay,
What time is it? What time?
8:24.
8:24.
I expect to
Motion
see that in the meeting.
Will Southwick
No.
Inn deliver?
Bye,
Still-
Jerry. I mean,
Still
Norm.
hoping.
I want to call you Jerry Peters. I don't know why.
We need a roll call vote for adjournment.
Yes, I know. Jerry
Okay.
Patria. you
Aye.
vote? Marissa?
Hi.
Brian Drennan?
Aye.
Brian Pranka.
Please.
David, you said it already, but go ahead, say it again.
Yes, let's go.
And
Okay.
Michelle,
Have a good night.
See you guys.
See you in 2 weeks,
Bye-bye.
or maybe Wednesday night. Who knows?